Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Hobbydude 007 channel and another installment of Model Cars and Coffee with Hobbydude. Today I want to go back 15 years to a build that reflects my love and appreciation for vintage drag racing, or drag racing in general. This build was very special. It was a record-setting car in 1962, a 1923 roadster rail, so to speak, driven by Tony Nancy. So let's get over and take a look at it.
Bring your model to life with MCV products. Visit them on the World Wide Web at mcvproducts.net.
This project started off as the Revell Tony Nancy double dragster set in 1/25th scale. Now, this kit was originally released in 1964, and there's been a number of reissues of it over the years. Now, my copy had a lot of flash on it and on the chrome, and so that caused me to have to re-chrome just about everything and then remove the flash. But that's okay. I wanted to focus on the car you see on the top, the record setter from 1962 Winter Nationals, the 1923 Roadster. So, armed with the information I could find online, as well as this awesome issue of Hot Rod Magazine from August 1962. Now, this issue, by the way, is really good because you've got the Indianapolis 500 coverage and the World 600 from Charlotte in there too, stock car racing. Now, while back then a lot of the coverage was in black and white in these magazines, the crispness of the photographs are still pretty good. So I had my research together, and then I moved over to the different parts, and we'll start with the engine. Had a lot of cleanup there, and of course this is a Buick nailhead, which was very popular back in the 60s for hot rodders and drag racers. And then the body was multi-piece, so there was some puttying to do on this to get all the seams and all out of it. I think totally there was like either six or seven pieces to this body, but it builds into a great looking roadster body. The steering wheel was not only out of scale, but it just didn't look right. So I chose to use a Detail Master item, which is photo etch and an O-ring. And if you follow the directions, man, these things build into a beautiful steering wheels, and there's different patterns that you can get for the centers. And I encourage you to use them, and again, in different sizes too. I've used them in several projects. The other thing was the wheels, front and rear. We'll get to the front in a minute, but the rear wheels, that chrome and that flash on them had to be cleaned up. And you can see here where I drilled out where the lug studs would be. And I decided to give it a little more realistic look. I would put some aluminum rod down in there, and then use Detail Master hex head fittings for the lugs. And then here you see the pie crust slicks that came in the kit, which were pretty good too, by the way. And the polished aluminum on the wheels, and you see the valve stem there. But I think those turned out quite nice. I decided to replace the wire spoke wheels up front with photo etch. I had to machine down the spindles, but that's okay. I think those came out pretty well, and you see the little hubs down on the bottom there for the mounting to the steering linkages. And back in the day, these old dragsters, well, even today, when you see them making a turn going into their lane, you'll see how those front wheels cant over. They kind of lean a little bit. Well, I wanted to do that with this particular project. So you see here, I was mocking things up and seeing what it looked like, and I really liked what I was seeing there. So that's the way we were going to display it, with those wheels just slightly turned over. Next up is that front suspension finished, and you see here the bolt heads. Now these are from Charlie over at ProTech, and I think those just add a beautiful finishing touch. And there's also some RB Motion pieces in here too. The pipes again, that chrome was just out of scale, and the flash on it was just not looking too good. So I took some stainless steel tubing. I made a jig where the bends would all be in the same place, and then I took a punch, and you see how they're flared down on the ends, and just one light tap on the punch to just lightly flare those out a little bit. You'll see the magneto and the wires there too. Those are Detail Master items, as well as a Detail Master blower belt and pulley set. And you can also see the Purolator filter down there on the on the oil filter. Also, the flanges for the headers, I almost forgot about those. Those are from Detail Master. And you see the light yellow stain right as the heat comes out of the heads. I just wanted to just very lightly stain those. And then up front, the moon tank was Detail Master, and the straps, if you look in the magazine, you'll see the straps look like they were springs that held those on. So I replicated those with some ultrafine wire and just wrapped it around and around and around a really small pin, and that's what gave me that look. A look at the entire front end from the moon tank fueling system going back to the engine. And this was a really fun project. And when you've got good research and you can see how everything is routed, that makes things so much easier too. You get another good look at those pipes too. Out back, the parachute, which looks enormous, but if you remember on that picture, that parachute was big in comparison to what we see today. And in the book, you see a remove tag on the back of the parachute, so I had to add that. I think it was a lot of fun, and it added that extra realism. Inside, the interior was sparse in these cars. You see the steering wheel there. You see the bare metal foil aluminum on that left side where the gauges are. And if you do any research, you'll find that's where everything was on there. But it made for a really fun project, and I hope I did Tony good on this one. So it was a fun project, and as you see here, Tony Nancy's 1962 Winter Nationals champion and record setter. This was such a fun project, and this is the way I used to display it when I would put this in shows, is on this turntable, and I even had a little backdrop. I took the cover of Hot Rod magazine and shrunk it down a little bit and made a little backdrop for it, and also a trophy, which is one of the old AMT trophies, and I took some transparent yellow and shot over the chrome, and then built a little balsa wood base. And the car itself is one of my favorites, a great piece of drag racing history, and I think that polished aluminum looks so much better than chrome on those wheels. And that big old parachute, a little look down inside there. And the little rivet looking things around the headrest and inside is Detail Master, or I beg your pardon, Protec nut and bolt heads. Another good close-up of the engine. A lot of the engine pictures had a cover over the front of the blower hat, so I made one and stretched it over it. And then back on the back of the engine, you see the linkage there for the blower. But what an awesome, awesome kit. A lot of history here, and something I really liked for my collection. I'm thinking that double drag, since it was a double dragster kit, doing that other one to go along with this, because I think it was 1965 was the Plymouth, the other one. But kind of cool. Well, guys, that is it for this installment of Model Cars and Coffee with Hobbydude. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm enjoying digging out these older ones and sharing them with you. So hope you have an awesome weekend and a great week to come. God bless, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks a bunch, guys.